PJ in Atlanta, and he's with us here, and he says hello, and he's on Mad Dog Unleashed. PJ, good afternoon. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Chris, you brought me back to the Tom Brookshire and Pat Summerall. There's never going to be any of those guys left. You kind of got me off topic, but they were great. I mean, we're not going to see any of that anymore.
Well, I think there's too many games. There's too many broadcasters. Everybody blends into one. I think that you notice the broadcasters when a real big game and it's a standalone game. You notice it at Super Bowls. You notice it at Final Four games in the NCAA. Both basketball and football. You notice it in Championship Sunday. That's when you get a sense. And, when they stand alone and there's the game, you're not going to DirecTV and doing all the... That's when... And those days where the one guy can really take control, they're finished. And so they're done. I
used to love Trumpy and...
Don Criqui.
Don Criqui because you knew it was NBC. You could tell the voices. You knew exactly what channel you were on.
And I think the other thing is that the new age kid... The kid who's growing up now, they are not big-time broadcasting guys. Our age
play sports, dude. I took a guy out today in the field to sell. He doesn't. I live in Atlanta. He doesn't even know where SunTrust Park is. He's 25 years old, graduated Georgia State University. The guy, if you told him who Mark Belanger was, he'd be like, the Blade. What's that? Is that a shave? What? Like the kids nowadays have no idea of anything before 1985.
And that's part of it. And I tell you, the one thing I've noticed, good job, PJ, and the thing that I've noticed really more than anything else, and I noticed it with my own kids because they're sports fans, two of them.
Oh, my God.
That none of them, they couldn't tell you who the now, they've learned it because of me, because I make sure they get an idea. They know who Al Michaels is and everything else. Yeah. Most of these kids have no idea who the announcers are at these games. They're looking at the phone. They're playing fantasy. They're not sitting there listening to the broadcaster. So that's why going out there and making this big how do you do on Jason Witten, you're wasting everybody's time. Be honest with you.
It is. And the reason the Atlanta Braves, it's public transportation, Chris. They moved to Cobb County. Imagine going over the 59th Street Bridge and then dropping into Roosevelt Island on a fire pole, and that's how you get to the baseball game.
It's hard to get there, huh?
It's not so much hard. It's just when they all the games are what at 7:05 or I don't know if they've moved
7:05. 7:05.
Okay, yeah, it's physically impossible.
Maybe it's 7:30 in Atlanta.
Coming over the Williamsburg Bridge and jumping off into a fire pole and going to a baseball game. It's impossible. The public transportation in Atlanta is terrible. When they had the 96 Olympics, they just laughed, but they didn't think 17 years or 18 years out front, and that's exactly why Atlanta's it's such a transient city. But that's why the guy yesterday got me pissed. It's not, and the guy from Charlotte, it's not that it's SEC football. Yes, people want to know where the quarterback from Clemson, what he ate for breakfast, or the guy from Georgia, but it's just transportation. It's ill. It's just
I get it. Yeah, to get the sun, if you're not in a certain part of town, getting to that SunTrust field is not easy. Here is Tom in Seattle, and he's with a series on Mad Dog Unleashed. Tom, good afternoon. How are you today? What do you have for me? Press again.
So,
Tommy, how are you, pal? Not bad. What's going on with you?
Yesterday you had a couple Atlanta fans calling in to defend themselves, and here's how you know that they're embarrassed of being Atlanta fans. They used fake names like Chipper and Shocker. So I do want to touch on a.
I don't think Atlanta's a good baseball town. I think it's not a big town. It's not a big town for base. It's not a great baseball town. That would be my take of it. Go ahead.
Right. Phoenix, Arizona. There you go. Arizona Diamondbacks. I wanted to touch on. You said you were surprised by their start in April, and one of the things that you can attribute this start to is you go back 3 years ago. They were the worst pitching team ERA-wise. But the last 2 years, they've had Nick Bocoro, the beat writer who for the Arizona Diamondbacks, wrote this great article about Dan Herron, now in his second career, is a strategic pitching analyst for them, where he scouts their lineups that they're going to pitch against about a series or two in advance. And now, last year, they were the third ERA, their second best this year, and that's where they've really made that difference, and it's an exciting team that kind of has had some offensive firepower the last few years, and now you add the pitching and, the Dodgers woes the last, this first start of the month. It's been a really nice start for the Diamondbacks.
No, very good. It's a big game for them today, too, because you want to make sure you win this series against LA, not give them any ideas. And the Astros have bounced back against the Yankees. They got 2 runs here in the bottom of the 7th. They haven't hit line drives, but they've been infield single, hit by a pitch, little soft liner to right. But they're about to take the lead. Bases loaded, nobody out, bottom 7, 3-2 now for New York. Here's Paul in Sacramento, California. Paulie, good afternoon. How are you today, pal?
Oh, I'm good. Before I make the comment that I called for, I mean, what would you pay to hear Pat Summerall? When I hear Pat Summerall's name, I always think U.S. Open, Masters, NFL. It always ended coming up, you know, for viewers except on the West Coast, 60 Minutes, Murder, She Wrote. Remember, and CBS had a murderer's row on Sunday nights for years. They just dominated the ratings, and every show was like, you know, top caliber show. And always remember Summerall's voice, you know, around 7 o'clock on Sunday night, signing off an NFL game or U.S. Open from New York or the Masters. It was awesome. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Summerall is an all-time classic. I mean, he had a good career, and he was a great broadcaster, laconic, but he had that signature. He had that signature style, and he didn't have a huge ego, so he worked well with Brookshire. Drank well with Brookshire too, but worked well with Brookshire, and obviously great with Madden. Go ahead.
I heard earlier on the station about Bill Torrey passing away, and it made me pause and think that's probably the greatest job in the history of professional sports of a general manager building an expansion team into an absolute dynasty fast. I mean, 3 of his number 1 picks, Hall of Famers. All the other guys he drafted, you know, unknown players from, like, you know, these little hamlets in Western Canada, the John Pinellis and the Nystroms, they all became big-time players.
Right.
And on the eve of winning the Cup, he made maybe one of the 5 greatest trades in NHL history when he traded Billy Harris for Butch Goring, and that changed his team from great to a dynasty.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not going to go. I don't know if Butch Goring did that, but I do.
He was the missing piece. He was the missing piece for that team.
I do agree with you from a standpoint of Torrey, who just passed away, who put the great Islander team together, brought in Al Arbor. Torrey he's an unheralded hockey GM. To make a long story short, had an expansion team, drafted great, made the right trade at the right time. You know, he's underrated from a general manager perspective. Part of it's the New York, part of it's hockey. You know, you don't think of GMs in hockey. Part of it is also the idea that, you know, he is the Islanders, which is the 2nd team in New York, or 3rd team, Rangers. You know, so he's a little unheralded. And you don't realize how he's a Hall of Famer. You forget how good he really is. Mark in Maryland, a chance for him. Astros have tied the Yankees. A pass ball by Sanchez. He is an atrocious catcher. And a pass ball by Sanchez. The game is now 3-3 in this bottom of the 7th inning, 2nd and 3rd. Go ahead. What's on your mind today? Are you there, Marky?
Oh, yeah. Hey, Chris, how you doing?
How are you doing, pal? What's going on?
Hey, pretty good. I was just watching this Yankee game, too. But, you know, I just want to make a couple of baseball things. But I will say that Wetzel knows that Mariano is a Hall of Famer. He's just tweaking his Yankee callers. That's all that's about.
You know, I don't mind tweaking the Yankee caller. There's a lot of ways you can do it and not saying something stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tweak Yankee fans all you want. Saying that Mariano's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, that just doesn't make any sense. I mean, that's not tweaking Yankee fans. That's embarrassing you because the Yankee fan knows that you don't know what you're talking about, or you're just doing it for purpose and for effect if you say something like that, because not a baseball fan in America would think he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, no doubt. So, you know, you hit the nail on the head. I guess it was Monday on High Heat, or maybe it was earlier than that even. But you're right. We don't get the drama of these pitching duels anymore. You know, we're never going to see Jack Morris and, Smoltz again. That was, you know, the classic game of all time, I think. And it just seems like we're not going to get that anymore.
It's a major problem. You're not, you know, unless you get to a situation where the starting pitcher is that much better than your bullpen, which we had last year with Houston and with Verlander and their bullpen. You might have that down the road with Scherzer if he ever decides he wants to pitch more than 7 innings in a game.
Right.
You don't. The problem is you never see the big pitcher in a big spot go through that lineup in a playoff game in the 8th and 9th inning. And
they never make it that far.
They never make it that far. That's the point.
So,
go ahead.
You know, now you were talking also about the Dodgers, and saying they really don't have a great player right now, which is probably true. But if you look back at the '96 Yankees, they really didn't have any great players either. Jeter was just his first year, and Mariano wasn't even on. He was there, but he wasn't great yet. So I mean, you can win without a superstar, but you got to have a whole bunch of really good guys.
Well, the Yankees had O'Neill, who's better than Puig. They had Bernie, who's better than Chris Taylor. They had Jeter, who was, effective maybe not quite as good at this point as Seager, but effective. They had a bunch of good catchers, just like the Dodgers did. The Yankees had a lot. They had excellent starting pitching. They had a good bullpen. The 96 Yankees were better than the 2017 Dodgers. I'll say that. Kevin in Virginia, Mad Dog Unleashed. Kev, welcome. Your turn. How are you today, pal? What do you have for me? Are you there, Kev?
Oh, hey, sorry, Chris.
Nice to have you aboard. What's going on? What do you have?
Thanks. It's been a while, man. But these Mets, what a team they started out, coming out gangbusters, and now we're just seeing them implode in front of our eyes every day. And I don't know. We overused the bullpen in the beginning, it looks like. Harvey doesn't even belong on a major league roster right now. And we got 3 holes in our lineup: catcher, pitcher, and shortstop. I just don't know what.
Well, the shortstop hole is not, Rosario's your shortstop. Your catching scenario is terrible, and you don't have your third, fourth, and fifth pitchers stink. I mean, Vargas right now, you'd be worried about. I know it's only 2 starts, but he is Jason Vargas. He's okay as a 5th starter. He's not okay as a 3rd starter. You have, obviously, Matz and Harvey, who don't have it. Wheeler you can't count on. They got some problems. They got some holes. I don't know. They need another pitcher. They have to get a catcher. Pilecki's not great anyway. Deneau's out for a year. And the Mets, they have 2 big starters, and they got a powerful home run hitting offense, and I think their bullpen's pretty good. But you're right. They got some issues on that team. There's no question about it. Go ahead. What else?
And I'll tell you, Callaway is lucky that it looks like they dodged a big bullet here with the DeGrom and the elbow. Putting him back out there on the mound after that at bat, and he comes to you and tells you that your ace tells you his elbow hurts, and you're gonna put him back out there. My God, you're lucky that it looks like it's going to be okay, because this pitching guru that we got, him and Dave Island, if your ace comes and tells you that, you don't put him out there at all.
Well, again, what you do there, Kev, is you have to be cautious. Simple. As it turns out, it's not an issue. He's going to make his next start. But anything with an elbow, I don't care if it doesn't appear to be that serious, and he tells you that, you get him out of the game. Simple. Nothing all there is to it. The Astros are still batting Springer, bottom of the 7th. They're at 3-3. Torre's going to be late, and is going to be very upset because the Astros have come back here. He wanted this game in the worst way, and he's going to be late, so we have to understand that. Here's Dave in Vegas. He's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Dave, good afternoon. How are you today, okay?
Hey, good afternoon, Doggy. Before I get to my couple of questions I got for you, I agree with Huck, and I agree with that one caller. We all know Wessel is just sticking his finger in the eye of Yankee fans. The guy wouldn't vote Lou Gehrig or Mickey Mantle first ballot.
Oh, is that true? He also said that? He didn't say Gehrig?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't say that. But I'm just saying, we loyal listeners know that he would say something like that, and we would just blow it off. That's just Scott being Scott. But anyway,
Astros just took a lead, so we will get into that shortly. Go ahead. You may continue.
Oh, yeah, Torrey's really going to be...
Oh, he's not pleased. He's all he can't talk to him right now, which is what I like. Go ahead. You may continue. Fire away.
Yeah. Quick question. A couple of quick questions. One, I'm in an argument with a couple of guys. I won't tell you what side I'm on. Is Stockton overrated? John Stockton.
No, definitely not. Malone is, not Stockton.
Okay. That's one of the questions you took away, Malone. Okay.
In my opinion, I think Malone's over. I don't think Malone. I thought Malone was very overrated. Never played well in a big game. Stockton's an all-time great. Go ahead. What else?
Okay. Yeah. Where do you rank Stockton? Who would you rank? Would you rank Nash?
Good question.
And or Kidd over Stockton?
That's a very good question. Those 3 are close. Nash probably. I think I'd take Stockton. I like his grittiness. I might, Kidd probably couldn't shoot great. I would take Stockton myself, but it's a good question. Those 3 are close. Yeah, the Astros, Dave, have come back, and they have a lead, and Sanchez is throwing the ball all over America, has a terrible, terrible pass ball, and the Yankees needed this game in the worst way today. Win the series.
The worst way?
Win the series.
Get the hell out of here.
Put themselves.
You're so full of garbage.
Could have won 3 out of 4 and let the Astros walk out of here with down 3-0. And they buried the Yankees in his 7th inning. The Astros,
yeah, they buried him. I think the furthest ball they hit was about 140 feet.
But that's what the Astros have done. The Astros build runs with their athleticism and their speed and their acumen. Well, the Yankees got to club you to death.
Thank goodness for that. Yeah, they clubbed you to death after they threw 28 scoreless innings. But that's all they do, though. All they do is hit home runs. You have no leg to stand on.
And remember, the Astros...
Just keep quiet. Go eat your nachos while you're on the air.
And the Astros are the American League champs and the World Series champs. And
there's another smoker.
And the Yankees, of course, are a team that is that overpays for players, and they're trying to get to where the Astros have been. So
that's right.
But anyway, 4 runs, bottom 7 for Houston today. Your thoughts? May I ask?
It's now gone to the 8th. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, it would have been great. They had a 3-0 lead with Tanaka on the mound in the 7th inning. Absolutely feel disappointed, but the game's not over yet. Got 6 outs to play with, and if they lose, what are you going to do? I wanted a split when the series started. So I got there.
But you didn't want to split when the day started.
No, that's correct. I just told you. When you're up 3, I just told you. When you're up 3-0 in the 7th inning, you're expecting a win.
You wanted to split.
I just told you that. Why do I have to be fair? What are we being fair about? I am being fair. I told you. I wanted 3 out of 4. When they had a 3-0 lead in the 7th,
then you end the
I wanted them to win.
Then you end the conversation by saying, well, we wanted to split when the series started. Well, the series hasn't started yet. The series started Monday. So right now, you want to finish off the series, and you want to win 3 out of 4. That's what you want.
Of course.
So don't sit there and say that, well, I'm okay with it because I thought we were going to get a split anyway. I want to take
What I'm saying is, what am I going to do? If they lose the game, I got a split, and I had a hell of a road trip. So, that's I obviously want the win, and I'll be disappointed when you're 9 outs away and you're cruising and nobody's touched you
with that great bullpen
for 28 innings. But, they didn't really exactly scald the ball, but what are you going to do? That's baseball season.
But that's what the Astros do.
A pass ball, an infield 2 infield ground outs, and there you go.
But that's what the Astros do.
Yes,
the Astros are I know, seriously. That is where the Astros have the advantage over the Yankees. They are resourceful, and the Yankees are not.
Oh, I see. The Yankees are not resourceful. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. After Verlander basically mowed him down, and they still won the game.
Well, that's because Giles gave up a 3-run homer. My case and my point exactly.
All right. So they're not. That's my point. Very resourceful.
I mean, in a big game,
you did not lose a game where you did not touch Verlander.
Bottom line is, Steve, in a postseason, that's when it counts. In a postseason, you're not seeing Giles pitch. That game is Verlander and his arm falls off, and you never would have scored.
Yeah,
that's my point.
How do you know? If his arm's going to fall off, maybe I will score.
Did you score last year against them?
It's a new year, my friend.
Did you score last year? You had 2 chances. Did you score last year?
No, and this is coming from the guy that. What was the quote? They urinated over themselves. Now you're the biggest Astro supporter. What a frickin' phony you are! Holy crap! I can't listen to. I'm sorry.
I'm an Astro. What did I say? Urinated on themselves.
When?
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Yeah. Should we remind you how?
When I had that bad loss at Yankee Stadium?
Yes, that's the one.
Shaking in their boots.
You destroyed them to the point where the manager wouldn't come on for a year and a half. Still hasn't. And still hasn't. Good one, Ed.
Stevie's got a sports bite. Mad Dog Unleashed.
Mad Dog Sports Radio.